Beautiful, beautiful. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And we out here once again. We're gonna get right into it. As you can see in the title, what's going on in the skies? All right. Now, as of late, there's been these the talks of the drones. Okay, as they call them. Let me say that, as they call them, the drones, which I did a lesson on it, maybe like a week or two ago, where there were people reporting in specifically in New Jersey that every night for like 2 weeks straight, they look outside of their window and then there's these drones that always show up right on cue, and then they fly around, and then right before the sun comes up, they go ahead and disappear. They fly into a certain other direction and then boom, they're gone. And you had one individual in particular who said that these these drones, his estimation was that they were like about the size of cars, like of a car, so that's a pretty big drone. All right. And now the mystery is that, nobody knows where they come. Apparently, nobody knows where they're coming from, right? Nobody knows who's operating them. The U.S. government is saying that it's not them. And, but what's interesting is they're able to come out and say that these drones don't pose a threat to the public, but you don't know what they are. You don't know where they're from. You don't know what any of that is, but you know that they don't pose a threat. How do you know that? Anything unknown, you don't know whether it poses a threat or not because it's unknown. So there's this back and forth, right? You have certain, let's just say congressman, politician, I forgot the exact position of the individual, saying that this is from Iran, right? From some mothership over in Iran somewhere. And then you have U.S. press, White House press saying, no, it ain't from Iran and blah, blah, blah. So there's all this back and forth going on. All this information, misinformation, disinformation, information, which all ties into the information warfare. Okay, to confuse the people, but also get their attention. It distracts them in a confusing way. Okay, or confuses them in a distracting way, however you want to put it. But at the end of the day, we know at the end of the day, what it comes down to is whatever they are, there's something that they're there for. And I'm sure in due time, there's going to be either some narrative or something that comes out that says, oh, we were able to shoot down one of these things, or we were able to capture one of these things. And then there's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of ways they can go with it. They can say these were not even from this earth, and then we finally caught an alien, or whatever they want to do. They want to set it up for Project Bluebeam. They want to, set it up as these were, I don't know, Chinese drones or something. Whatever they want to set it up for, they can go ahead with it because a lot of people are now, curious, right? People are genuinely saying that they're scared. I remember the elder at Tasman yesterday, he said he was on his way back home, and then he saw not just one, but a couple. He saw them up, and he said he said they were real low, but he couldn't hear the engine. So it's definitely something interesting going on over there in them skies, But let's start off actually with what's this precept that came to mind? Second Maccabees, the 5th chapter, because that's what this reminds me of. And I brought this out in that lesson, because when you go back during the time of the Greeks, specifically during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes, there was something similar that occurred, though in the book of Second Maccabees, it was the actual heavenly host, right? The angels and so on, showing themselves sort of like war games in the skies, and everybody was spooked. They were terrified seeing those things, But it also makes you sort of interested to see. You have people tweaking right over this. There was a video of somebody shooting at it, right? As he was recording, he was shooting at one of them. But right now, they're not really doing anything except just flying around. And wait till you actually see the chariots of the Heavenly Father, right? When they actually manifest, when the angels come down and they start, because the angels, when they come down, when Yahweh Shai comes down, it's not going to be because he wants to come and just show himself, and fly around and give you a sight to see. They're going to be doing some physical actions, right? And that's going to be deliverance and destruction. So it's one thing to see in the sky something you don't recognize, and then everybody else says, I don't know what it is. And there's another thing when the things in the sky start shooting things down and destroying things with technology that this world hasn't seen before. That's a different kind of fear that people are going to experience. You know. So let's get that real quick in Second Maccabees, the 5th chapter, because the Lord did say, man, this time is going to be a time like never before.
All right, this is the book of Second Maccabees, chapter 5 and 1, and it reads, about the same time Antiochus prepared his second voyage into Egypt,
Yeah, because
and
at
then
this time you had Antiochus. As he expanded, he was trying to he was really trying to get a hold of Egypt, and the problem there is that see if I remember this correctly, you had Antiochus Epiphanes, right, whose father was Antiochus the Third, the Great as they call him. Now Antiochus the Third, I believe he had a daughter Cleopatra, who he ended up giving to Ptolemy over there to get down with. So that would make Antiochus Epiphanes' sister, Cleopatra. Hence, his sister's, I think it was his sister's child, which was that Ptolemy the Sixth. Anyway, long story short, he was constantly trying to get up into Egypt, but the problem was he had to be very careful, because when he tried the strategy of just going up in there and taking things over, he found out the hard way that Egypt was backed by Rome. Why was Egypt backed by Rome? Because Egypt provided Rome grain and certain resources that they used to feed their population. So they came up in there real quick and said, back up, back all the way up. So now he's trying to find a way. Let me try to use this guy as a puppet king. Let me try to find some way to get a foothold over there in them cities in Egypt. Long story short, as it says, he prepared the second voyage to Egypt. Go ahead.
and then it happened that through all the city, for the space almost of 40 days, there were seen horsemen running in the air.
So that's 40 days, right? That's over a month. Through all the city, every day for over a month, you're looking up and you're seeing, as it says, horsemen running through the air. Go ahead.
In cloth of gold and armed with lances, like a band of soldiers,
Hmm?
and troops of horsemen in array, encountering and running one against another,
Yep.
with shaken.
So basically, like heavenly war games, right? Today they have war games here. They have their different formation. They have their ships, and they go back and forth. This was like the heavenly war games where you're seeing the angels, as it says, with lances, running back and forth across each other. Shalom.
Shalom, Yahweh Shemel Shabbat.
Running back and forth across each other, and they're like, "Yo, what the hell is going on?" And it's every day, and so you can hear it, you can see it. It looks spooky, right? Like ghosts up in the air. Go ahead.
With shaking of shields and multitude of pikes, and drawing of swords and casting of darts, and glittering of golden ornaments and harness of all sorts.
Hmm?
Wherefore every man prayed that the apparition might turn to good.
There you go. And that's an apparition is like almost like a ghost or a spirit. And so they prayed that it would turn to good because they were looking at it and they were scared all types of ways. It was like almost like a glimpse of ancient Egypt, that you read about in Wisdom of Solomon, the 16th, 17th, and 18th chapters. Okay, that's what they were like, yo, what the hell? What's going on up here in these skies? And that's the thing. When the Lord, what happened?
Yeah, I was going to say, when you finish your point, I want to make a point real quick.
Okay, Con. When the Lord turns up the supernatural side of things, everything is gonna stop. You think the CV stopped the world. Wait till the Most High starts bringing down these apparitions and unleashes these death angels in these last days. You're gonna see what real terror is like, and you're gonna find out why the Most High is referred to as the King of Terrors. You got it, Haran. If you got anything to
Khan, got a quick precept here. There's a book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15, and verse 11. It says, "But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof." Right. So you mentioned how the apparitions is similar to the apparitions that happened back in the time of Egypt. Right. There's a lot of things that's happened during that time that is still prevalent till today. Right. People's fear of darkness goes back to that time. right? Because of how thick the darkness was. You know what I'm saying? When you actually go into the various chapters and the verses of how it describes, you know, how it was so dark that even when you lit up a candle or a light, you couldn't even see it if it was right in front of you, man. You know, and people are hearing sounds, and you know, it sounds like water and sounds like animals running through the bushes and all that. You know, that's the Lord messing with your psyche. You know, and all these people on meds and drugs and all bugged out. It's going to be worse now than it was back then, right? But the Lord said, "What? He's going to plague this place like He did with Egypt, because this is America, the reincarnation, or the spiritual reincarnation of Egypt, in the sense that the same oppression that our people felt back in the time of Egypt, we felt the same thing here. Now it's almost over. All right. The plagues that the Lord said He's going to take this place out is going to be similar to the ones that He did to the time of Egypt. Okay, and Egypt never rose up again. Egypt was done after that. All right, their whole mystique right now, though their religious and esoteric influences did follow through with these other nations that came after them, right? So did America, right? But the thing is, America's destruction is not going to be like Egypt, in the sense that once the Lord finishes with this place, it's going to end up like Sodom and Gomorrah, right? So it's going to be like it says in Revelation, I believe is it the 11th chapter?
Yep.
Yeah, where it talks about America being spiritual Sodom and Egypt, right? So Sodom, in the sense that it's going to be destroyed, like what happened to Sodom, based on the activities that was happening back during the time of Sodom and Gomorrah. Same things you're seeing here in America. And also spiritual Egypt, in the sense that what they did to the Lord's people, they did the same thing over here in America. All right, and America's oppression was just like that of Egypt. All right, and ultimately what happened? The children of Israel got delivered. The same thing the Lord's going to do here this time around. The elect of the nation of Israel is going to be delivered again. All right, but this time it's going to be so miraculous that it's going to be it's going to be the deliverance that changes the order of life forever. All right, that's literally, once that deliverance happens, we in the kingdom. That's it. You know, but you got it, bro.
That's right. Hey, and you know, these people really have no idea what's coming for them, because I just remember the video that Apostle Tahar put up yesterday, right, on the bug. I don't know if you saw it, but where you had Jake spazzing out over a friggin' cricket on the shoulder, right? And then I know you remember this video from a long time ago. Apostle Gabar put it in the comments. You know that news reporter who was speaking, and then the bug, I think, either flew into his mouth or on his face. He started bugging out.
Yeah. It's like, what the fuck is this? Get me out this country, motherfucker. Yeah, I know.
That one. So, just based off of that alone, you say, okay, but that's a bug. That's like a bug. You know what I mean? And look at the reaction over a tiny bug that even a half of one of your fingers can crush. And imagine the Lord bringing the actual, like, we're talking about some crazy apparitions over here, right? The scriptures talk about teeth of wild beasts, you know, punishing the wicked to destruction, right? The scriptures talk about many forms of of apparitions that the Lord is going to unleash upon this place. So if people are bugging out over bugs and natural creatures that you see all the time, crickets and so on, what the hell is a cricket going to do to you? You know, dude's clothes are all torn up. And the second that thing landed, this friend was out. He just got up, he just, boom, left. Hey, but that's why the scripture say in Isaiah 13 that it shall be as a chased roe, you know? Because them roes, man, you catch them, watch Animal Planet. You know, they eat, they up. And the second they hear something and they look up, they're gone, you know, and they're fast. You know, a lot of people give credit to like the predators, the cheetah and the this and the that. Look at the animals that they're chasing. You know, cheetahs don't always catch their prey. So ask yourself, how fast is that damn hare, you know, or gazelle that this dude is chasing? This shit got him going left, right, up, down, left, right. You know what I'm saying? And then the cheetah gets tired of shit. That's what these people are gonna be like when them apparitions hit.
And when you look at the actual roe, right? I believe that's the female deer, right? And it's a smaller version. It's quite small. They got the skinny ass legs, but they're fast as shit, like you said. And the thing about it is, a chase roe is normally when you have a group, like a group of the deer grazing, and the predator pulls up, whether it be a lion, whether it be a jaguar. Lions really can't fuck with them, but you know, normally it's a cheetah, right? And the moment they notice that the cheetah is up to them, what happens? A chase roe, they all scatter, right? The one goes over here, the other goes over here. One takes flight, like they jump real high. I think it was like 12 or 15 feet that they could jump up in the air. You know, if there's a fence, they hop in that fence easy. You know what I'm saying? That's what Jake gonna be doing. Jake gonna be, hey, nigga, hey. You're gonna see a group of gangs, maybe in Chicago somewhere, New York somewhere, or down south, all grouped up and shit. And the moment they hear the troops pulling up, it's gonna be, hey, nigga, hey, I'm out. Nigga jumping out the window. This nigga jump off the car. This nigga out here, you know, hey, you know, you're gonna be hearing gunshots flying everywhere, man. It's gonna be chaotic. You know, and I actually had a dream about that a couple of years ago. And in the dream, it wasn't just regular people, it was us brothers. And it was us, the brothers from GMS main camp. And we were in like it looked like a city. Like it was a city and it was filled with mad lights. And out of nowhere, as we were in our respective areas, the lights went out, right? And as soon as the lights went out, all of us knew exactly where we had to go at the same exact time. And so we just started running. It was like people were chasing us. We had helicopters flying, we got motorcycles, we got cars, choppers everywhere. And bros was like speed, like running through the streets, jumping over cars, all kinds of shit. And then we ended up in a place that it looked like a bunch of stairs, right? It's like almost like an auditorium, but it was open, right? And it was outside, and it looked like a whole bunch of stairs. And bros started, you know, sitting on the stairs. So we were all of a sudden we just all grouped up at that same spot. And I saw mad brothers from main camp. We were all there. And then I was looking for you. Bakar was looking for you, and I was like, "Where the fuck did you go?" So I went. I was where I was sitting at. It was like at the bottom of the front stairs, and the apostles were standing at the front. They were in the front, just kind of. It's almost like they were about to give a speech. So they were standing in the front. It was all the apostles were standing over there. And then when I took a seat, I seen you all the way in the back. So I kind of signaled, and then you pulled up and you sat next to me. So as we're sitting there, the apostle Tahar was like, "Hey, hey," and he started giving praises to the Lord, and then we started following after. He was basically almost like a war cry. You know, he was giving the speech, and then brothers was following up in the Hebrew. And then as soon as he finished, he said, "Oh, y'all know what time it is now, right? It's go time." And then the spirit just jumped, and then we saw chariots coming down. It was just crazy, like lights everywhere, you know. And then brothers kind of like took off after that, and then that was it. It was kind of like, all right, every man for himself now. Let's go and just try not to get caught, type of thing, you know. But in the dream, it was what I do remember was the speed. Every brother's jumping over motorcycles. It was like super speed. There ain't no, oh shit, there's an obstacle. Let me slow down. Let me hop over it. Nah. If you had infirmities, that shit disappeared out of nowhere. It was just brothers was out of there, man. You know, but that was a dream that I had, and it kind of reminded me of being like a chase road. It was just all of us kind of had the spirit of instinct to meet at one spot, and there was nobody missing. All of us was there, and it was like we got the command, and then boom, we was out of there after that. And they was looking for us. The feds, everybody was looking for us. They couldn't find us. But I just wanted to bring that in real quick. You got it, bro.
Yeah, I got you, Amna. And we can actually go into that Isaiah 13 as well, you know, and touch on that. But since you mentioned it, I also remember the dream I told you I had. I think it was like yesterday or the night before, where basically in the dream, the parts that I remember, I was in this like it was weird, right? Because it was kind of like a museum, but it was also like a you know, like yeah, it was kind of like a museum setting. And so I was in there, and it was like when they have like a grand opening of a place, that's how it kind of was. So I remember I was in there, and they had this like, it was like almost like a statue of Trump in there, and Trump himself was in there, and they were like trying to be like, "Oh, you know, come take a look at this." Basically, everybody was like praising him because they, you know, they loved him and shit. So he was looking for it, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, it's right there actually," you know. So he ends up walking up to it. He's looking at it, all happy and mesmerized and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, you know, we all looking, you know, seeing what's going on, and the dream takes a turn. So now, what I remember is it got to the point where it's like, as you're going through this museum, it starts to look more like a facility, you know, of like where they got like research and all these things. And now I'm like, all right, this shit looking kind of weird, you know. Let me get on up out of here. And then apparently I became like a POI, a person of interest, because when you try to leave, initially they try to like say it in a nice way to stop you from going. So, oh, have you taken a look at this part? Oh, well, why don't we take a look over here? And then I don't know what it was. Maybe I overheard something, but it was sort of like, you know, we gotta get this guy and experiment on him. We can't let him get out of here. Man, the second I heard that, I was out fast, gone. Like, you know, like when you watch those movies and they got the camera first person perspective, and it's just like left, right, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how I was going. I found the exit, and the door was open, and I was gone. This freaking guy Trump over there turned from, you know, this cool guy, chill guy that everybody's like, oh, you know, it's cool. This nigga sent the military after my ass. He sent the special forces, whatever they were, and I already knew they were coming. So the second I got out, I started running. But the interesting thing is, I was able to fly. Like I was running so fast, adrenaline was pumping so fast. I just jumped and started flying. But what's interesting about it was I had never thought about it before I did it. It wasn't weird when I started doing it. It was just a matter of I jumped, I could start flying, I got the hang of it, and I just started doing it. And I was gone. So I just kept going. They were looking for me. I knew they were looking for me. And then I came to find you, Haran, using like some like story house, you know. So I came in there. I stood on like one of the fire escapes. I was looking through to see who's around, and I think I saw you in there. So I came up in there, I snuck up in there, and I was telling, yo, this is what's going on. They got these people after me, like we gotta go, you know, before they pull up. And then immediately there's agents outside of the window, like they're already gathering up over there. So I said, damn, shit. So we ended up leaving from there. And as we were trying to escape, they just started becoming so much, you know, everywhere, surrounding us everywhere. And then we just got to the point where we just started having to fight. You know, instead of flying, we just stopped and we actually started fighting. But we had spiritual power, you know. So that's the dream I had. And you know, when I woke up, the thing I was thinking about was Revelation 13. You know, the appearance of a lamb but speak as a dragon, because that's how quick this dude, and it was Trump in the dream, how quick he turned. You know, so there's some spaghetti for your plate. But yeah, I think I saw your hand up on him now. Yeah, son.
Khan, yeah, when you were given the examples of the roe and the cheetah, I started thinking about when David was saying that when he was praying to the Lord, he was saying he maketh his feet like hinds feet. So I wanted a little bit more insight on hinds feet, and this is what I found. It says, what exactly is hinds feet? A hind is a female deer that can place her back feet exactly where her front feet stepped, not 1 inch off. She is able to run with abandonment. In times of danger, she is able to run securely and not get off track. The hind is able to scale unusually difficult terrain and elude predators. So it started making me think about that's how we're going to be in Jacob's trouble. We're going to be able to run, jump everywhere to evade the soldiers, the super soldiers, even use spiritual power to fight back. Yeah, that's about it.
Hey, but you know that also happened in a greater scheme as well. When during the time of 70 A.D., I believe in Revelation the 12th chapter, it talks about how the woman helped the
Earth.
earth helped the woman,
Yep.
right? When we were leaving Israel and we were fleeing into the mostly western parts of Africa, remember it was a trail. It was from Israel all the way down through Egypt and then through the east coast around the Sahara Desert around there, all the way through the central, mid central, all the way into the western. But Jake didn't just go straight directly to the western. He was scattering around. But it was like we going further away from the Roman persecution, and the furthest away where you're going to have fertile land and water was the west coast. And of course, we settled over there, but Esau couldn't follow up with that because the elements, he couldn't battle the elements, the heat, all right, the rough terrain. You know, his red ass couldn't survive that shit. You know what I'm saying? Where he gonna go? You end up into Egypt. It gets too hot. Your Romans is dying. The soldiers are dying. They're not equipped for that shit. You know what I'm saying? And then Jake is out here blending in with the leaves and with the soil and all that. Esau stuck out like a sore thumb. You know what I'm saying? Esau thumb. You know what I'm saying? So he couldn't survive that, right? And then also think of the terrain, all right, enabling Jake to be able to escape. All right. I believe the brother of Joab, Asahel. All right. This scripture says that his feet were like I believe like hinds feet as well. You know, he got them quick feet, man. He was fast with it. That's why he was chasing after Abner. Abner said, "Yo, bro, I'm gonna have to slay you, bro. You gotta stop, bro." He said, "You gonna stop chasing me? Go this way, and I'll go that way." He said, "Nah, I'm still I'm on your ass. I'm on your helmet." He's like, "Bro, keep it up, and I'm gonna have to slay you, bro." And then what? He was out of there, man. You know. But that same spirit, Jake got that spirit. All right, look at Usain Bolt. All right, look at Johan Blake. All right, look at Tyson Gay. Just
Yeah.
these are just athletes that we mentioned who do this on a entertainment kind of thing. All right, look at this new guy, Noah Lyles. I know you went to school, you know him. You know, so yeah, you used to race that dude and shit like that. I remember. You know what I'm saying? But these are all just people, and they're all Jake. Where the Edomites at? When you look at all these world records and speed and all that, you won't see no Esau running that shit. Yeah, they use Jake to get those kind of high praises for these countries. When you look at all these different countries, the USA, all their gold medals, it's all Jake running that shit. All right, you go to Jamaica, it's all Jake. It's just Jake doing this shit. So when the time comes, the Lord gonna put that spirit of fear, right? When you get into that spirit of fear, what happens? You got a fight or flight response. All right, that's adrenaline. When adrenaline kicks in, you're gonna see a different type of Jake. Trust me, Jake be on something like, especially Judah. They walk mad slow, walk in the street and shit. You know what I'm saying? When the time comes, you're gonna see Judah on a different type of time, man. You know, and also when you look at the Northern Kingdom, right? Issachar, Reuben, Manasseh, right? They also used to, go into that kind of spirit. When Esau came over here and they was waging war, imagine the Apache Indians and all that. They were running through the woods, crazy. They said they used to sit on a horse, right? And they'd be leaning down on the horse, and then it's like your one side is on the side of the horse, so you could divert from the bullets, and then the other side is still shooting the arrow, man. That's like scaled to a whole nother level, and Jake was doing that. All right, the Lord gonna bring all that spirit back. You know what I'm saying? Imagine that shit. Huh?
When you see you see Jake doing that today when they're on those bikes and those ATVs and they doing the little one and then 1 foot on and the one and all that. Imagine that with a horse, So just to your point, that's Jake does that today, and it's in them to do that. P.S. I did not race no allows. I was in the same track meets, but I ain't racing. That dude is faster than I don't know what to call him.
In my mind, you kept racing that nigga.
But yeah, that's a good point. And speaking of which, I'm not. Let's get Isaiah 13, and then any precepts, any point you like. You can start from the top.
This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and 1. And it reads, The burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see.
Yeah, see, Babylon got a lot of burdens, and one of the major ones that's about to unfold is going to be this destruction that's coming. See, right now they're being unburdened by what has been, or burdened by what has been. I bet they wish they had Kamala now, but they're being burdened by what's going up in them skies. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see because really, to be honest, life in this world, specifically in America, is kind of like a movie, man. It's the same thing that happens over and over again with different events. Something starts off, and all of a sudden it's like, yo, is this real? And then you start looking into it, and then it becomes a big thing, and then there's a narrative, and then it turns into something, and then it dies, and then something new comes up, and then the same pattern again. I remember the first time they started talking about election fraud and mailing in, mails and stuff like that, ballots and all of those things. Okay, cool. Then they started talking about, there's this whole border situation. Then it became a big ass deal, and now, boom. Now all of a sudden, there's these drones. One or two people start talking about it. An article comes out about it. Then it starts to become a big thing, and then some narrative comes out of it. And then I'm sure the next thing is going to be something else. It's almost like a movie that you're watching, and it's something that always happens here and there and here and there. But these are eventually going to turn into the burdens of Babylon, as we're about to read in Isaiah 13. Go ahead. Oh, definitely.
My bad. Real quick, I don't know. I came a little late, so I don't know if you already talked about the drone things, but I just want to just speak on what I was meditating when I was, listening and watching articles about it. But essentially, let's say it is chariots, right? When we say chariots, we're talking about, the chariots of the Heavenly Father that people ignorantly call UFOs. Well, all right, cool. If it is chariots, then cool. The scriptures say, be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, as the heathen are dismayed. So we're not freaking out about it. People, ask, hey, did you hear about the drones? And what? It's like, all right, if it is drone, if it is a so-called UFO, we know that's not an actual UFO. We know that there's not aliens in there. We know that there's angels in there, and we know it's the chariots of the Heavenly Father, the chariots of God. So if it is that, cool. But if it's not, and let's say it is drones, I think they were saying it's from Iraq maybe?
Oh, Iran mothership.
Let's say it is from them other nations, which a part of me did think maybe it could be Esau surveying the land, but that didn't really make too much sense because you already own this place, you already have the grid layout and everything like that. This is your spot. So you trying to survey to see where people is at, that part didn't make too much sense to me when I thought about it, but it could be a thing. But we say that there are sleeper agents in it, right? We give the example of the division where when it's time, they're going to activate. So it would make more sense. Let's say those are drones and they're surveying the land. They're from another country. It would make more sense for that because now you need to know the land. If you're going to attack this and set off your sleeper agents, you need to have drones. So, okay, we have camera visuals. We're getting a grid layout of the land. So that way, hey, you go over here, you go over here, you do that over there. So now you have a layout of the land and you know how to. Now you have a layout of the land and you know where to attack and things like that. So either way, prophecy is still going to be fulfilled. And like I've said this before, I don't know if other brothers said it. I apologize if I've taken your saying, but it's going to come to a point where like the brother's going to go into Isaiah 13. Eventually, we're no longer going to read Isaiah 13, Isaiah 24, Isaiah 34, and things like that. Eventually, you're going to be living these things. Eventually, prophecy is no longer going to be words on the book. You're going to be living it. And that's where it's eventually Ezekiel 3, and I think it's 26 or 27, I'll make that tell you to move that mouth. There's no reason for us to tell you these things. You're living it, you're seeing it. Don't come to us asking us questions. You're seeing it right now. That's it.
Hey, since you mentioned that, they could very well be the next event, and they could launch an attack, a unified attack, a coordinated attack on like the grid, on nuclear facilities, on these things out of nowhere, and they could then they could come out and say, oh shoot, it turns out these were some spy drones, but they weren't launched off the coast of a mothership. They were created by sleeper agents that were already in the country. Like, you never know, but they could use that to turn to evil, to say, yo, these drones actually just went rogue, started attacking shit, and now the grid is down.
Right, because one of them can have like an EMP. They always talk about a cyber attack. It carried EMP, it flew over there, and now you have a part of maybe a part of a city. Maybe they could start off small, a part of a city without power and things like that.
Right.
Little chaos could happen, things like that. They could do an experiment like they did. What was it? The first purge with the Jake with his ex-girl. Was it? That was the first purge, not the first purge movie. But
the name of the first. Yeah.
They had a little area where they did experimentation.
Yeah.
And they can have a little drone go over in the area, take a little power out and all that, and do a little experiment there just to see what it would be like and how people act and things like that. Another thing I also thought of that you just said, right, we're gonna need another. Let me say this carefully. Another 911, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Another 911 event, because we understand that they're the serpent, gradualism. They're moving slowly, but eventually, even they're gonna be like, listen, we got to step this shit up, like too much. Like even the snake, when it wants to attack, like it moves slow, but eventually even the snake thinks in its mind, like, okay, I gotta make a move eventually. So eventually they're gonna have to do something big. Too much little slow movements. You need to like actually strike.
Right, exactly. Good point.
Right. Yeah, that's a beautiful point, bro. And actually, as you guys have mentioned this, I just thought about this because I noticed that I've been hearing a lot about this whole drones UFO thing earlier this week. I actually haven't gone into it yet for some reason, but I'll get into it, But first thing I just thought about, as Yabros was mentioning, is that they could possibly just push it and start some shit, like you said, start an EMP and blame it on Iran. Why do I say that? Because it seems like they just toppled down one of the last countries that they were looking to topple, which is Syria. All right. And I remember when the first day, I think it was earlier this week, when they said, oh, Assad is fleeing and, whatever. I said, this is interesting. How come a country that used to support him, which is Russia, all of a sudden they're hands off?
Right.
What's going on back there? You know what I mean? This shit doesn't make sense. And it happened so quickly. He just ran out of there. They say, oh, he was hurting his people and the people are liberated and all this shit. And then lo and behold, guess who ends up in there? Fucking Israel, bro. Israel runs up in there, starts saying they bombing shit. I'm like, where the fuck did these niggas come from? You know what I mean? So then you got the whole, like we've gone into before, the Greater Israel Project. If you don't know about that, look into that. That's what this whole thing is about. Yep. And who's behind all that, helping them out, is the U.S., America. Babylon is Israel's bitch. All right? So the last country that they're trying to topple, all right, when you go from where they started, which was Libya, they had Egypt, they had Libya, right? They had, I believe, Lebanon, Iran was on there, Iraq is on there, I think Syria is on there, and there's one more country on there as well. I think it was 7 nations and 5 countries or 7 countries that they had to topple in a certain amount of years. Okay, and Iran seems to be the last one. All right, so it will make sense in the world. It will make all the sense in the world for them to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. What do I mean by that? In the sense that you could start some domestic shit over here, right? you could come up with a whole lot of narratives and say, hey, domestic T's who are anti-A supported this type of Palestinian, blah blah blah. You know what? Tie it all in, and then come and round up Americans who are against the war that they're trying to push for. Okay, and then you also open up the door to go against Iran directly because you could say, oh, you guys did this to us. Okay, your drones is what's popping up over here, and I believe there's a congressman who mentioned it. He said, "Oh, this could be from Iran. We gotta, investigate and shoot it down," type shit. Whatever the case is, it's just a plot. And there's also, of course, psychological war games that they playing on the people's minds. Okay, like you mentioned, it's almost like every 3 months there's some new shit that goes on and drags on. What was it last year? Last year was when we started hearing about, oh, there's a Chinese drone that's flying it and caught everyone's attention. Oh, what's this? Oh, Alaska, they shot it down. We can't find it. And parts of it went to Canada. We need to go, you know what I'm saying? And now they're coming up with this shit. So if it's something that's threatening your so-called national security, what are you going to do about it? All right, and what you're gonna do? How does it actually solve the problem? Do you even know what this problem is? They say that some people try to record it and then it drains out their battery. All kinds of different narratives out there, right? But again, it's all part of the psychological warfare games that they play with the people. Get them talking, get them speaking online, get them distracted from whatever it is that they're trying to distract you from. All right, but we've got to pay attention to what's going on in Syria because it's going to lead to what's going on, what's about to happen in Iran. All right, and that's going to pop things off, man. All right, Trump he does have a reputation of killing motherfuckers in January. So remember Qasem Soleimani. All right, he knocked his ass out in January of I think 2021. All right, so he's back again. So we're gonna see how he's gonna play this out, man. But all fingers are pointing to some form of shit popping off either later this year or into next year, whatever the case may be. Something is going down, man. All right, the Saudis are involved in some way, shape, or form. Hey, man, there's a whole lot going on, but we're gonna watch and see. All right, but we could get back to Isaiah 13.
Go ahead. No.
There's a book of Isaiah, chapter 13 and 2, and it reads, Lift ye up a banner upon the high mountain, exalt the voice unto them, shake the hand, that they may go into the gates of the nobles.
And that's what we're doing now. Because today, right, the modern day gates of the nobles, we know it's like their congressional hearings and so on and so forth. But because of us, they're going and they're having both open door and closed door meetings because they're like, yo, this is like a known thing now. Remember, now once upon a time, there was no, like, we weren't out here, right? Once upon a time, you didn't go out and see the prophets out here in the format that we are now. Okay, so all of a sudden it's like, okay, they started popping up 1, 2, 3. Now the whole map is full of red dots, and they're everywhere, and it's a norm, and people are listening. So they're going and by us coming out and teaching the scriptures, that's that banner, and they're able to see it and they know who we represent. So now they got to go back and they got to have them talks and they got to say, yo, speed things up, man, because that's that 1 Corinthians 4 and 9. And them when they consult with those familiars and those spirits, they tell you, yeah, that's them, because spirits know spirits, right? How do we know that? In the book of Acts, the demons that were in the demons at that time recognized the Apostle Paul, right? They recognized the name of Yahushua, and for those vagabond Jews, they didn't recognize them. But the demons know. When they saw Yahushua, they instantly said, "Oh, this is the Son of God," and he had to, hush him down. So the demons know who you are. Yahushua told his disciples, "Blessed are you, because your names are known in the heavens." Right. So when these people go to confer with those demons, them demons know, yeah, those are the same spirits. Those are the actual prophets coming back. So if they're out here right now, that means that the Most High set them up, and if He set them up, then that means that something is about to go down. Amos 3 and 7, the Lord will not do anything until He reveals it to His servants, the prophets. So these elites know, time is running out. We got to move because there's more and more of them popping up on the scene. We got to do something before the Most High does something. Go ahead.
Verse 3, I have commanded my sanctified ones. I have also called my mighty ones from mine anger, even them that rejoice in my highness.
Which are the angels. Go ahead.
The noise of a multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven.
Yeah, and that's
Even
talking
the
about the missiles, okay? Because they're gonna come from one end to the other, from the east all the way to the west, and vice versa. Okay, go ahead.
even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to
And
destroy
we
the whole
know,
land.
Salaki, we know that the weapons of the Lord's indignation are what? The missiles. Okay, to destroy the whole land. And what land is that? The land whose burden this is, Babylon. Okay, so that's ultimately that's gonna be the end goal, right? When all is said and done, where we're gonna stop at is the destruction of this place by thermonuclear fire. You know, so whether you survive the horrific things that are happening through Jacob's trouble all the way throughout, if you're not of the elect, your last stop is going to be those missiles. You know, go ahead.
How ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt.
Yeah, so the day of the Lord is at hand, meaning it's close, and it's going to come as a destruction from the Almighty. It's going to be the doings of the Most High, and everybody's going to know that it's the doings of the Most High. People's hearts are melting right now over drones or whatever it is that's up in them skies, primarily because they don't know what it is. So that adds to the mystery, which makes it scarier for them. You know, but when you do know what it is and you know what it's coming to do, and you know that that's not going to be for your good, that's going to be a different level of fear that people are going to be experiencing, and they're going to be looking for the men of the Lord for some answers, for some good news. But you either not going to find us, or you ain't going to hear good news.
Hey, but you know what's interesting that I noticed too is that I haven't seen no brother bugging out over these so-called drones and shit
Definitely not.
because what's that? Isaiah 33:6 says, "For wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is a treasure." Right. So the fear of the Lord has given us that wisdom and understanding that gives us that stability because we know what time we're in. We know what to come. We know what's to come. We know what to expect. Right. In terms of prophecy and timeline and so on and so forth. So even if it's like let's just say there are actual angels and chariots spying the land and so on and so forth, we're not worried. You know why? If anything, we're thankful to the Lord that this is happening now. You know, we see these things and we're like, yo, all right, cool. You know, if you might be driving, you might see a big ass so-called drone or a so-called UFO above you. All right, if that's an angel of the Lord, you praising the Lord compared to somebody who might be in the next car behind you. They're bugging out, taking their phones. Like, oh my God, what is that? Oh, you know, bugging out. We see that and we're like, oh shit, that's to say, hey, Polo Yabashim Yahushai. You know, if anything, oh, they're here to protect us. If anything, they're here for us. You know, they're here to lead us and guide us. You know, so regardless of what they are up in the skies that people are bugging out over, we ain't tripping over that. All right, and it's interesting too because I believe it was I want to say a month or two ago this demon, Lil Uzi Vert, he did a concert. And in that concert, there was a so-called UFO that came down. I think it was in New York City. And people were running around, bugging out, doing all kinds of crazy shit. You know? And I was like, damn, imagine getting caught up in a place like that and you see an actual UFO, like there's an actual angel in the chariot. You think you're going to be worried, oh man, what if he zaps me by mistake? Nah, you're going to be chilling like, all right, well, hey, it was nice knowing you. I'm out. So whatever judgment I got to come for your ass, yeah, you take it, but I'm out. You know what I mean? But again, the point is the wisdom and knowledge that we have in this truth is what keeps us stable in all these tumultuous times that's about to happen. Whether it's let's say Israel starts bombing Iran right now, we're not going to sit there and be like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. No, because we know the events of prophecy that needs to take place. The MOTB ain't out yet. That means that we ain't out yet. It's almost there, but we're not out there yet, right? You know, they might turn out the lights. Okay, the lights are out, but hold on, it ain't the end yet because the MOTB ain't out yet. You see, so we understand the course of prophecy and how it has to go. So because of that, it keeps us stable. We're not bugging out. You know what I'm saying? And that's a good thing. That's why we thank the Lord so much for this truth, because you go about your day all week. I've been working. I ain't tripping. Oh, shit, oh, they seen drones is flying. Oh, shit. Yeah, we got it. Hey, you know, they about it. You're not worried because the Lord got you. Hey, the Lord might, hey, you got brothers in Jersey. All right, we got the main brothers in Jersey, the heads and so on and so forth. Guess what? The Lord could hit the place with an EMP attack and them brothers going to be good. right? Them brothers gonna be good. Their house is gonna be good. Whatever they gotta do is gonna be good. Maybe their jobs might get affected because it's all part of the world and so on and so forth. But the Lord got them. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, people's personal lives are disrupted. You know, imagine coming home and it's frigid cold and you ain't got no heat. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no electricity. You got children with you. That's all part of the times of trouble. You know, Jacob's trouble in the mind, you know, trouble in the flesh. Why? Because you're not spiritually suited for what's coming. All right. And the things that's about to happen upon the face of the earth, like we read in Isaiah 13, men's heart failing them for fear of the things that's going to be hitting this earth. Yo, man, it's not going to be easy. Right? Because Americans are they've been bred to believe that this place is always going to be a comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? Like your government is always going to be there to help you. You know, if something happens, you just reach out for 911 and they're going to be there at your aid and support. You know, oh, just call FEMA and FEMA is going to come in and help you out. Meanwhile, the government is setting things up where so-called FEMA and them, they're going to be the main weapons that they're going to be using against the American people. We've been telling you this shit. All right. Oh, I support my military. Oh, you went and fought for my freedoms. They're going to be the same niggas, the vehicle that's going to be taking your freedoms away. When they grab your ass and they send you all the way to freaking Alaska somewhere, and you got to be in them camps chilling over there, you're going to think about what the words that the men of the Lord were saying to you in the street corners, man. When you were passing by, you cover your children's ear because you didn't want them to hear what we were saying. We saw you. All right. When you pass by, you make those faces. We saw you. When you passing by, you speed up your steps because you don't want us to say nothing to you. We don't want to say shit to you. We're not interested in what you go in your life. If you don't come up to us sincerely to seek the word of the Lord, we're not about to look for you like that. So it's all to your own detriment. All right. But ultimately, guess what? All these things that we've said, it's all coming to pass step by step by step. And guess what? Like I always say, it's something called accelerated gradualism. Things are moving fast. Have you heard about disease X? Oh yeah, that's also in the works coming up soon. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I'm gonna do a separate lesson on it. But they're saying out there in Congo, they got that thing is brewing over there too. All right, so it's interesting. 2019, around this time of the year, we started to hear about CV. At that time, it was the Rona. All right, now they got something called disease X around the same time of the year. And who's in power at that time? Trump. Who's in power this time? Trump. So we gonna see. All right, but you got it, bro.
Hey, real quick, I'm not. Was the audio low for you for Haran or is it normal?
That was normal.
All right,
It's normal. It's good. Yep.
Okay, now that was better. I don't know. This phone started tweaking out for a bit, but yeah, man. Hey, very, very good point that you was mentioning on that. The parts that we could catch, but keep going on that. Oh,
Isaiah,
actually, I was gonna say that what you were mentioning, Haran, you know, that wisdom and knowledge being the stability of our times. Because if we see a giant, you know, chariot pull up and you know it starts, you know, it just starts hovering and start going, you know, people start bugging out. Yeah, we know the chariots are our salvation, but we're not gonna, you know, start losing our minds because we know that it's still not yet time. So it's gonna be a matter of okay, let's see what what the mission of the chariot is here to do, but we know it's not here to deliver us right now because the time that the scriptures say that we would be delivered is not up yet. You know, so it keeps us calm and knowing okay, there's a reason why it's here, but it's not the reason that initially you may think. But go ahead, Imna, and then brother got anything to it.
Isaiah chapter 13 and 8, and it reads, "And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth."
Yeah, Haran, you can break that down for a second. I'm gonna fix this thing.
Yep. I'm not bring that back real quick.
I'm going to say it, and it reads, oh, shit, hold up, Salakia.
Yep.
Alright. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 13 and 8, and it reads, "And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth."
Yep.
They
So
shall-
when you go to Second Thessalonians, it talks about how I think it's First Thessalonians the 5th chapter. They shall be like a woman that travaileth, right? When the sudden destruction cometh upon them. So it's the same thing that's talking about in Isaiah 13, is that the pangs and sorrows is all going into the birth pains, right? Which people are suffering now, but it's only going to intensify. We're talking about the economic pains and sorrows, We're talking about the health pangs and sorrows. We're talking about the new oppressive state, right? Digital so-called state that we're about to enter into, right? When you look at Trump's whole panel that he has, you don't see no Jake in there. It's all Edomites. Edomites and all kinds of different heathens in there. That's something I noticed earlier this morning too. I said, oh shit. Yeah, when Biden and them was in here, you saw a couple of Jakes in there, kind of like to, spice things up a little bit. Now they're just going full blown. We don't need no Jakes in here. Why? Because the agenda is to come against you Jakes. All right, Northern and Southern Kingdom. All right, so all that is going to be going into the pains and sorrows, man. Seeing your family members being split because that new guy, I forget his first name, something Holman. He said he's going to be, deporting the Northern Kingdom, going back to Venezuela and all these different countries, the respective countries that they came from. Guess what? That's going to be a catalyst to come against all Americans who may go against their new policies, man. You know what I'm saying? So you could couple all that in to what's about to happen here in America. It's not going to be good, right? That's what Yahweh Shai mentioned, talking about the sorrows, right? We're seeing the beginning of sorrows. We're seeing the earthquakes in diverse places. We're seeing the famines, though it might not be broadcasted on the mainstream media. It's actually happening around the world. All right. How is it happening? Is because the world is going through a transitional period right now. All right. So these governments are all shifting from the physical way of doing things to a digital way of doing things. And by doing so, they have to strip the people of all their assets. All right. They're stripping you of your assets, and they're also stripping you of your old way of doing things. Okay. So farmers are suffering, right? The weather has become a big weapon because a lot of these farmers are complaining that they're not getting rain at its due season. All right, they're not getting sunlight in its due season. Right, their crops are not growing at all. They're saying that you plant your crops, and then 4 weeks later it still hasn't germinated, and then it grows for about a few weeks and then it dies off. Right, so because the soil hasn't been it's not fertilized. It's filled with GMOs and all kinds of different shit from the rainwater that's getting into the soil, man. Right, so Esau is pretty much fucking up the whole entire ecosystem. You look at what's going on in the water, right? They're poisoning the water, okay? The air is being poisoned, the soil is being poisoned, the food is being poisoned, all these things. Not to mention, going back to the health that I mentioned earlier, they said there was a doctor who came out and said that starting 2025, you're gonna see a lot of people drop dead from the JAB. Why? Because of something known as turbo cancer, is what he was mentioning, right? He said anyone who took that J, you know what I'm saying, your time is up pretty much. All right, you've lived your 2 to 5 year window that they gave you. So 2025 is going to be that year where, and if brothers have seen this thing called the Deagle report, first time I saw it was back in I think 2015, 2016, but they took that page down. And when I saw it, it was like a military page, and I was kind of like curious, so I looked it up, and I was like, oh shit. And they were going into how these different countries, they're going to be depopulated. Okay, they're going to be depopulated, and America was going to see a depopulation of at least 90%, which is over 300 something Americans to about 50, 60 million. That's what they were saying. All right, and then it goes down the line to China, to India, Africa, all kinds of different places going to hit Europe. All right, they're all going to get hit with some type of depopulation. All right, so you could couple all that in with the pangs and sorrows, man. All right. When you read the book of Second Ezra, it goes into how the famines, the plagues, all right, the sword that's being sharpened, all these things are part of the pangs and sorrows because it's things that's going to befall the inhabitants of this world for their wickedness. All right. When the Lord said He's about to begin to visit the world which He made, the visitation is not a beautiful thing. It's not a welcoming thing if you're a wicked ass nigga. Right, when the Lord starts visiting, He's visiting with plague. He's visiting with anguish. He's visiting with destruction, right? With pain, with sorrows. All right. When you look at all these other nations in the past, they suffered those same fates, including the nation of Israel. All right. When the Lord says, I'm turning up, He's turning up, man. All right. And that turn up is about to start very soon, man. You're going to start seeing it. All right. You're going to start seeing it, man. But that's what it's talking about. All right. You got it, bro.
They shall be amazed one at another, their faces shall be as flames.
And that amazement ain't gonna be like today that's like some of the meanings of certain words being lost in the use case, because today when people hear amazed, they always think of it in a good sense. Oh, that's amazing. So, oh, it's good. Oh, there was such an amazing act. Oh, so it's good. Amazement does not necessarily mean good. It just means shocking or surprising, like to be astonished, right? So it says they're gonna be amazed one at another because they're gonna be looking like today. They look up and see things and they're like, "What the hell is that?" But this time you're gonna know. I mean, we're gonna know exactly what it is, you know. So we're gonna tell you, yeah, those are the chariots of the Lord. And the next thing you're gonna wonder is, okay, well, why are they here? And a lot of people ain't gonna like that answer. We will, but you ain't. Go ahead.
Behold, behold, the day of the Lord cometh, who both with wrath and fierce anger,
Right. So why
to
is the
make
day of the Lord coming with wrath and fierce anger? Well, like Aharon said, all you got going on here is wickedness. You know, because all this, I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on, and it doesn't stop. All it does is they level up in wickedness every couple of months. You know, every couple of weeks. Like you had that, what's her name? Lily something. I forgot her last name, but pretty much it was that
Lily
chick,
Phillips, I think.
Phillips.
Yeah, I think it's Lily Phillips, some bullshit like that. Yeah.
Okay, Lily Phillips. Yeah, basically that's that chick who went viral because she did a challenge to sleep with 100 men in one day, you know, and then she ended up doing it, and then her dumbass, right? She does it. They interview her on it, and then she starts having an emotional breakdown because she's talking about how it's like it takes a toll on you and all this extra stuff. Then comes back and turns around and says now she's gonna go for a record of 1,000 men, you know, and and then she's like, oh, because she didn't want to disappoint her fans and she wants you to be a part of that. What? What are we talking about here? You know, you got a woman saying that she wants to open up her quiver for 1,000 arrows in one day, and she wants you to be a part of it. You know, that's where she's going with it. But that's the thing. It's like that. People are just looking for something. How doesn't matter how bad it is, as long as it makes them go viral or it makes them something that they can be recognized for, like this stupid ass freaking Hawk Tua girl. You know, that's the thing. Like she's happy that she's known for that. You know, this chick is happy that she's known or she can be known to be the chick that slept with 1,000 men. Bro, what is? This is why Isaiah 13 says it's going to be a day of cruelty and fierce anger, because you are happy, more than happy, to be known as the one who not only did follow the laws of the Lord, right, but did it worse than anybody else. That's basically what they're taking pride in. So what you think the Lord is going to do? Go ahead.
Hey, but that's why it tells you in the book of Second Ezra, I believe, the 6th chapter, where it goes into incontinency, is going to
Yep.
be upon the face of the earth. That's what's going on now. All right, there's no restraint on immoral sexual appetites and desires, man. All right, that's a very immoral thing to do. All right,
Mm-hmm.
and she talking about her eyes was burning because of all the nut that niggas was putting in her eyes and shit. I said, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? She really said that shit. You know, I'm like, how old is this chick? Like, what kind of whoredom shit are we talking about here, man? You know, that's why the Lord said, an evil and adulterous generation. All right, it's evil and it's adulterous as hell, man. Adultery has become the thing that gets you fans, like OnlyFans. Like, what the fuck kind of shit? This shit is
Yep.
annoying, bro. You know, and we got to deal with this type of shit. We got to stomach this type of bullshit. And these are the people that get respect, man. Huh?
Yep.
What's the parents at? What kind of society are we living in, bro? You know, it's disgusting, bro. It's deplorable, man. All right, and we got to actually deal with shit like this, man. What kind of society is this? And this is what these other nations are looking at through social media, and some of these chicks are becoming like that, man. You know what I'm saying? You go to these other countries, these other nations, you got chicks doing BBLs, and you're like, yo, you're not even like that, bro. How are you Asian and you got that fat ass? What's going on? That doesn't make no sense. You know, an Asian chick with cheeks, man, that shit crazy as hell. But that's what we're
Caked up.
dealing with. She caked up, double cheeked up, bro. You know, but that's okay though. Hey, I'm not mad at that. I'm just saying it's just the negative connotation that comes with that type of shit, man. It ain't right. Okay. But for her to be on something like, oh yeah, I'm gonna move up to 1,000, 1,000, and the guy was interviewing her. He said, oh, so how was it? Like you was protected and shit. She said, no, we doing it raw.
Yeah.
And now all these niggas, all the 100 men, all of them are talking about, yo, I'm kind of scared because like, yo, what if she gave me something? I hope all of y'all niggas got something, man. I really pray that the Lord put that spirit where she spread all kinds of
Who?
monkeypox on those stupid
Me?
asses, man.
No, she
For real.
I don't
You
think
know?
she went raw with him because when you like when you look at the thing, the
Yeah.
documentary, at least they said like there's like the room was full of like condoms and lube and all of that stuff.
Oh
So
yeah, she said I think she said when she was blowing them off or something, it was gonna be
oh shit,
raw blow. She blew a raw rod, but then she let them
propagate
strap
faster.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then when they about to finish, she gonna let them take it off and then right in her face, man.
Oh
And
shit,
I'm like, yo, like this is crazy.
that's crazy.
But this is 2024 into
Yep.
2025. There's the Satanism that we got to deal with, man. There's a whoredom that we got to hear about on the mainstream, man. This
Yep.
type of shit should have been like, yo, where's she at? Get her arrested and stone her ass to death, man. Period. All right, make an example so all these hoes could learn and be like, oh, I don't want to be. Oh, no, I'm good, bro. You know. But now she's the type of chick to influence chicks in the Middle East. Now they're talking about they got to go to their the equivalent of their Congress or whatever, their parliament houses or whatever, to debate whether women should be able to wear certain clothing and shit. It's like, yo, that's your culture. How is America influencing your culture so much to the point where you got to start debating things that have been the mainstay that kept your society intact for all these years, man? What's going on?
Right. Right.
That's that Revelation 17. These nations are drank of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All right. So when you start seeing these people dropping dead and catching all kinds of different judgment that's not used to them, well, you gotta understand that there was fornicating with the whore. That's what you get. All right, that's what you get, man. So we don't feel bad for this bitch. If she dropped dead getting fought by 1,000 men, that's good for her. All right, and all these chicks that gonna follow suit, that stupid OnlyFans shit. What's the other chick, Sophie Rain? Apparently, she said she a virgin. That's what they saying. She a virgin, but she made over $42 million last year or some bullshit like that. What is this, bro? Hey, may how about you try to bring that judgment, man? We ain't gonna feel bad. All right, you got it, bro.
Oh, so I just had some. This is the things that you get from pretty much social media. Because now on social media, you can have a whole bunch of people putting up their opinions, what they feel, what they think is right. That's why they have a saying, especially amongst women, "Live your truth" and things like that. So if you check out the comments underneath that, you see a lot of, especially so-called Israelite. I'm not saying so-called, sorry, Israelite women, which is really so-called black women. They say, let her live her life, let her do what makes her happy,
God.
and things like that. See, that's that living your truth. But your truth is really a lie. Your truth is really disgusting. Because here it is, this woman slept with 100 men. Now, if you know anything about microchimerism, that's pretty much how the man and the woman get bonded, because the sperm, his sperm goes pretty much all up through her body. It passes the blood brain barrier and all that. So it pretty much bonds the woman to the man. Now, let's say if it was true that she did go, which I don't think that she did, but even just the act of having sex with that, it's a soul tie. Now you have your soul tied to 100 men. Plus, let's not forget, she's probably done something like that before. She seems like probably like one of those college girls, that buck wild type chicks or whatever. So you got to add those men as well. So this woman has 100 plus soul ties to men. Now imagine she tries to get in a relationship with somebody. You think she's going to be able to tie herself to the man? You think she's going to be able to even be tied to the women? Because there's even something called fetal microchimerism, where pretty much the DNA of the child is also in the mother, and that bonds the mother and the children together as well. So now you have this pretty much this mixture of DNA from a whole bunch of different people in her. How is she supposed to bond to anybody? How is she supposed to bond with her man, bond with her children even? She can't do that. But then, people say, live your truth. Everybody lives their truth. Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. But what you're doing is really destroying you. And then you're wondering why you can't have functioning relationships, why anything's not working out. Because you're going against the nature of the Heavenly Father, the way He made it to be. He did not make it to where women could be like men, and you could just, they say men sleeping around. But you can't be like a man and have multiple partners. You can't do that. It does not work out for you. It's showing, like, literally, when you do these type of things, your life is showing you that, it doesn't work out. I remember watching a little bit of the documentary, and you can see her eyes are starting to get red. Whatever it was, it's like, the hell, that's your body even saying, chill the hell out. You about to destroy yourself all for content, just to go viral, just to do something stupid. But the scriptures say, folly is saying great dignity.
She's gonna go viral. I'm sure she got a few virals.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I got a precept.
They need to throw her to them Benjamites in the book of Judges. You know,
Man, she wouldn't last a millisecond in ancient time.
don't show her on OnlyFans.
This is Proverbs 23 and 27. For a whore is a deep ditch, and a strange woman is a narrow pit.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go into the NLT, it says a prostitute is a dangerous trap.
Mm-hmm.
A promiscuous woman is as dangerous as falling into a narrow well. Right. So these women are a deep ditch, and there's gonna be some simp out there that will try to forgive her later on and try to actually wipe that up. Believe it or not, because this is the land of whoredom. And where is that happening at? It's not happening in China. It's not happening in Africa. It's happening right here in America, Babylon the Great, because this is the great whore. That's why the other nations call this place the Great Satan.
Mm-hmm.
You see? They call this place the Great Satan because look at the things that's allowed here.
Yep.
Like the brother was saying, live your truth. That's really Satanism. Do as thou wilt.
Yeah, for real.
Do whatever you want to do. Be or do whatever.
Don't tell me nothing.
Don't tell me nothing. Forget the consequences. Don't ever tell nobody about the bad things that they're doing. Allow anybody to do anything at any given time. And this is why we have this society. That's why it has to be melted.
Real quick, I was gonna say, damn it, don't forget the point. Fuck. I forgot.
It'll come back. Hey, that was a good precept that you brought out, bro. Because hey, yeah, there you go.
Pretty much a lot of these women, and people are not gonna like to hear this, but a lot of these women is pretty much whores. I mean, prostitutes.
Yep.
Because it's like, yo, the only difference is prostitute, you pay up front, it's like, yo, baby, all right, let's do it. Hour time. Difference with these is like you gotta keep coming back. All right, we do the dinner date, then maybe another dinner, then the third time it's all right. Now you come back to my crib, or you come to my crib or whatever. That's the only difference, but it's the same thing. It's prostitution. She's already been out there dealing with other men, and now she cannot bond to you. She can't do anything with you. She's what is the expression? It's already a box or the package already been opened.
Oh shit.
That's Eve right now. They be talking about you got to pay my rent out the gate. You got to pay my bills out the gate. Bitch,
What?
I just met you.
Yo,
The fuck? And even if I was with you, I ain't paying all that shit.
and you used.
Used up box. Let me pay for that. You know, like you trying to get a car with 300,000 miles. Yeah, I'm gonna charge you top dollar. I'm gonna charge you more than a luxury car for that matter of fact. Ain't nobody going for that. That's why Eve is going the way of the dodo. She's going extinct. You feel me?
I just want to say this as well. There's even some of those things. You got them pop the balloons and all those types of stuff. And a lot of these women are saying, "Oh, doctors ain't even good enough for women now," and a doctor makes good enough money.
Yep.
So a doctor's not good enough. So what is good enough for you?
A drop kick. That's what she did.
It's like at this point, it's like, yo, like you can't satisfy. It's getting to a point where it's not even like you can say like you can't satisfy. Eve is just getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
She's a greedy whore. Greedy whore.
And it's annoying, to be honest. You know, it's very annoying because it's like it's just they speak full of pride and ignorance. You know, like the type of shit. Oh, I don't like you because you had a hat on when you came in. Oh, I don't like you because of the sneakers you're wearing. You don't even know the person. And that's why when the Lord brings reality upon this earth, man, we gonna do that to you. Yo, get me some balloons, Doc. You said you starving? All right, well, let me see what you got. You know, because you want to play that game. This is why the Most High set things. Look, when the Most High created life, right? He created he had creation. He gave it a design and said, "This is how life is supposed to be." When you deviate from this what we're living in, America, is a deviation from the Heavenly Father's laws. And that's why we're complaining. And then that's why the Lord is going to deliver those that complain pursuant to Ezekiel 9:4, because he's like, you guys are the ones who finally get the message. You learned the lesson. Because everybody else that's not complaining, they haven't learned the lesson. They haven't seen the point as to why I created America this way and why you're in here. You finally learned your lesson. You know, so now when I put you back to where you should be, you understand why you're there and you're going to stay there. You know? But over here, man, this place has to go, because this is what happens, as the scriptures say, women rule over them and children are their oppressors.
Yeah, to add to your point, the pride of this place, you know, Esau, the scripture says, the pride of thine heart hath deceived thee. So everybody that's, you know, as the king is, so are his subjects. roughly paraphrasing it. So you have these people, and after they do all this wickedness, they'll say, well, thank you, God. Oh, I seen that Eve put a status. She said, God about to spin the block about me. God about to spin the block about me. like the Lord is just a thug in the hood. He gonna do what you trying to say? He gonna do a shootout for you? But they'll do all that. Thank you, God. My blessings are coming. God is about to do his big one on me. Yeah, his big one's gonna be when the missiles drop on your forehead, bitch.
Yep.
Yeah, and they kind of like sexually they put their connotations upon the Lord. Like they get their
Right.
rocks off.
Right,
You know?
right.
They weird. They I seen videos where the woman is praying and she got her ass up in the air, like, you know what I mean? They twerking in church and it's crazy, but I ain't even gonna go into that. Just a quick brief from Sirach chapter 26, verse 12, which says,
That's crazy.
beat every hedge will she sit down and open her quiver against every arrow.
Yep.
So, like y'all was talking about with the chick Lily, man, she opened up her for 100 men. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Look at it, you know what I'm saying? What's going on with this world? Everything, y'all commend wickedness, man. I wish the camera was able to get a shot of that, man. This man is out here butt ass naked, jogging.
It's 20 degrees out here, and the Edomite just ran by with no shirt on, running around.
No socks on.
Come on, man.
A pair of dry fit shorts.
That ain't the wicked.
That's wicked.
Hey, I think the brother.
A sport out of it called polar bear swimming. Where Edomites get out there in December and January and they go to the beach and jump in the water. You know what I'm saying? You saw that?
Right.
No, I haven't seen it.
It's called polar bear swimming, where they jump in the beach at this time, the coldest weather of the year, with no clothes on, to go swimming.
Out in Brooklyn, you got Brighton Beach. All them Russians, that's what they do. They go
That's
in the
an
brick ass
abomination,
cold
man.
water in the middle of the winter, like now, and they go swimming like
Shit.
it's regular.
No, dog.
There's this woman that's on the internet who made a whole full-length dress out of condoms from all the people that she had sex with. It's completely stitched together,
Yep.
like 1,000 condoms on her from shoulder to ankles
Yep.
of used condoms.
Yep.
What kind of abomination y'all got going on in this?
Yep. Some black chick too, skinny, nasty black chick too.
Oh,
I said, yeah. I said, yo, our people are going, bro.
We're wrong. Salakia, my bad. Sorry.
You good, bro.
No, I was gonna say, but if we say anything, we're wrong for bringing this out or talking about these things.
That's
And
crazy.
if you had a line of women up right now hearing us talk about it, they'd be saying, leave people alone. Let them live their truth and things like that. Let them do what makes them feel happy. But what they're doing is now gonna affect, because you gotta think about it. It's the children that are then gonna see this. Because you're dumbass. Salaki, I was trying to be
go ahead,
respectful.
bro. Go ahead.
I'm not talking to y'all across the street, so like that. But you're dumbass. These people today, your influence is then going to influence those children, and when they see it, they're then going to think that it's okay. The same way, like you, when you saw your parents doing the dumb shit, and you saw them doing, you thought it was okay. But now your generation has now taken it to the extreme. So seeing as how you're taking it to the extreme, that's why you have your I Show Speed, the Kai Sinat, because now it's doing all this. I seen some shit. It was probably like a 10-minute video. Dude did some bungee jump from I think it was like in England or something like that. Some bungee jump. He fell all the way down. He hit his head. Now he had a protective gear, but he hit his fucking head. He was knocked out cold. He was like, that hurt. I'm like, yeah, of course it fucking hurt you, dumb. Why would you do that? But all that just for views. Now imagine if he hit his head so hard that he could have caused brain damage or something. All that for views. All these type of things. This is what you're doing for views. This is what you're doing for attention. We know how women are attention seekers and things like that. But this is what you're going to do to the point where you're wearing a condom with all the men that you had sex with on you. And that's how you're going to get, slimy and all that type of stuff. That's what you're doing to get attention. And we're wrong for saying, like, hey, yo, you know you can be better than that. We're just literally trying to tell you, hey, yo, you can't be doing that. You're better than that. That's not right. Think about the children that you can influence. But no, we're wrong. We're crazy. We're the evil ones for talking about this type of stuff, saying that you're wrong for doing it. Man, part of my life is fuck you people.
Yep. This is why the Most High is going to destroy this place. I think Haran has something real quick to bring like precept.
No, I think the brother I'm not wanted to say something first.
Oh,
You got it, bro.
okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just had two things. One one of them was the girl that did that. It was later revealed that she said she didn't know that HIV is sexually transmitted, which is crazy.
The one with the condom?
Yeah, the one with the 100 men. Yo.
They said apparently, not said apparently the Lily chick, she said she didn't know that HIV was sexually transmitted.
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. This generation is stupid, so I'm not surprised.
God, no.
Everybody wants some more tea.
You got the water. But yeah, go ahead, Haran. I think you
Oh, I got one more.
oh, Slakia, go ahead.
No, it's all. I'm not. You got it, bro. I had nothing to say. You got it.
Oh, you just okay. Yeah, go ahead, Admin.
The water. I read a post on Reddit, and I just brought it up. It was about the girl with the 100 men. It reads, "I felt so sad when I saw a little bit on Twitter. She seems broken and lost. I'm sure she thought that would be something easy and crazy, but wasn't. She was technically raped. She was technically raped. Cause, for example, every man had 5 minutes, but some of them wouldn't stop even if she told them time was over.
How
They
you know that?
treated, right? They treated like a piece of meat, which is heartbroken and shows how degenerate is the mind of our society. I hope she can get help and she can build a better life and confront all these traumas now she sadly carries."
Dude said, you see, so you see what's wrong with society, right? You take a chick like that out, then you find a nigga like that, then you bring him and take him out. Dude said, she was basically treated like a piece of meat, and you know, he hopes that you know she can live a better life with all this trauma that she carries. Whose idea was it? Who said it? Was it the dude's? No, it was her, right? Cause she hold on 1 second. You want her to live a better life? She said she's gonna go for 1,000 men. You want to go be one of those men and help her out? He's probably one of the dudes that's gonna marry her. Try to marry her when she's done, used up, you know what I'm saying, stitched up, and then he's going to try to marry that. It's people like that the Most High he's gonna get you too.
He'll be the last one.
Yeah, he'll be the last one. You know,
Wedding ceremony at the end of it.
That's crazy, man. Because that's the problem, you know. And you know, people like that think that they're just like I'm just pious person who's seeing the good in people and trying to make no. There comes a point where it's not about seeing the good in people. If the person is doing blatant wickedness, it ain't about this person. We gotta understand where they're coming from. She set the whole thing up. She had an assistant who was letting these men. She explained the details. You sign up a month in advance. You come there 50 men at a time in the lobby. They each get this amount of time. And she said in the interview that the time was up to her. She said for some of them, they only got 2 minutes. And the interviewer said, yeah, but you know, that was kind of up to you, right? You decide when to stop. She said, yeah. So what the hell this guy talking about? You know? A guy like that got to starve and get eaten by hyenas in Jacob's trouble. You know? That you know, the wickedness that these women do is annoying, but the simple-minded individuals that back this up are even more annoying. You know?
This is the book of Hosea 5:4. They will not frame their doings to turn unto their God, for the spirit of whoredoms is in the midst of them, and they have not known Yahweh.
There you go. The spirit of whoredoms is in the midst of them. You know, it's literally the heart of this place is on whoredoms. You know, wickedness and adultery. Like everywhere you go, every 2 seconds, this, especially on social media. You know, you turn around, it's either gonna be like Haran was saying, talking about this chick Sophie Rain. You're making 200 or however amount $1 million in a year. In a year, right? Meanwhile, somebody who's doing construction that's actually building the buildings that you stay and sleep in, somebody that's actually flying the planes that's going to take you from point A to point B, people that are actually building and inventing things that are going to make your life, you know, easier to live, are not even making a quarter of a fraction of whatever it is that you're making. And all she's doing is what? Posting videos, stupid little videos, doing 12 to 15 second dances, and she's making millions of dollars. That's why it tells you, the scriptures say that folly is set in great dignity. This world is completely backwards because that's what they glorify here. When all hell breaks loose, it says riches profit not in the day of wrath, right? But righteousness delivered from death. When all hell breaks loose, man, the Most High and we're not gonna feel bad for it. You know, when the Lord starts judging these people starving to death, having to eat their family members and go through all those things. And what you think they're using all that money for? They're using it to make the world a better place? No. And they're never satisfied. Yo, millions of dollars? Yo, throw some in investments and start thinking about living a better life than all this dumbass OnlyFans shit. You know? But the fact that they even created, yo, I was surprised when they legalized a platform like that, an OnlyFans, to say, look, go on there, show whatever you want to show, and it's you actually make money this way. So they're promoting whoredoms in the land by telling women and men that you can go on a website, show yourself without clothes, doing wild, crazy, promiscuous things, and get money for that. And then people go and pay for that. Guess what? They're promoting it.
And I bet you Amalek is behind OnlyFans.
Oh yeah.
And that's why when you read up into the history of the small hats, they've been kicked out of so many countries because everywhere they go, even other Edomite countries are like, that's too much.
Yep.
Even the wicked is saying you're too wicked. Because you come and you bring debauchery. That's what they did in Germany. If you look at the history of Germany, they were bringing a lot of debauchery.
Yep.
And even other Edomites like, all right, damn, this is too much. They would bring the pornography industry everywhere they go. And where is the biggest place where that is popularized? Here in America, Babylon the Great. So they bring the society and they corrupt the hearts of the people, the minds of the people. So now you incentivize all these young girls, like the girl from Bernie Mac show. I don't know if y'all remember Bernie Mac.
Yeah.
It was a sitcom from like back in the day. I think it was like early 2000s. Anyways, it was about Jake, right? And it was a family man. It was Bernie Mac, and he had the whole family. So one of the daughters from the show, she grew up, and now she's on OnlyFans. Bernie Mac is turning in his grave, man.
It's crazy.
Because that dude had a little bit of sense. He probably would have told her, like, yo, don't do that shit. But these women don't care, man. Who suffers later on? Your family, your children, the embarrassment and the shame that you bring them. They don't care because Eve is all about self-service. She's a narcissist, man. She's all about, well, what's in it for me? You know, how could it benefit her? If everybody else around her got to suffer and die, then so be it.
Yep.
And that's the mentality of Eve. That's how we got to this point.
Yep. Hey, it says that in Sirach. We could get that too, and also the one you got, that of the woman came the beginning of sin. You know, so if you notice, you know, the thing about it is, like, you know, the Most High created man and woman separately, and women are more susceptible, and the Lord designed them to be moldable for a reason, because that way, each man having a woman, she can be the best helpmeet for him, because he can mold her how he wants. You know, in the sense that, okay, she's like, oh, well, if she serves him, she knows, okay, what are the things that tick him off? What does he like? What doesn't he like? These kinds of things, so she can, you know, be a better partner to him, right? That then Esau uses that to work against women because of how easily moldable they are. They will come out here and tell you, moldable. The hell you think this is? You ain't molding me. But then they turn around and get molded all types of ways by Esau Edom. He just doesn't do it blatantly. But when he puts it in your music, in your TV shows, in your you know, in all the different things, your commercials, he's molding you. The molding starts in the mind, you know.
Christianity.
Yeah, Christianity.
Elder Puff the Bar. I forgot what video he was doing, and T.D. Jakes had a book called "Woman Thou Art Loose," using the woman with the issue of the blood, and basically letting women know that they're free to do whatever and things like that. The music, Cardi B, I don't cook, I don't clean. So that's how Esau is influencing, like you're saying. It's just like he's not doing it in like how a man would be like, yo, listen, I need you to do this and that,
Yeah.
otherwise it ain't gonna work out.
Yep.
Like, I ain't doing all that, but he's doing it. Esau's doing it in a subtle way.
Yep, like a serpent.
Yeah, the other coming from the other side, essentially.
Yep. Got it?
Sirach 25 and 24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die.
Yeah, and guess what? They made a philosophy from that, which is feminism, and they believe that going back to Eve, you know, she was like her and the serpent were really people that were rising up against oppression of the Most High, you know. So by them going against what the Lord said, they were standing up for women's rights, And that's why feminism has roots in witchcraft, because you know women weren't allowed to take lead roles in pretty much anything else, as they called it according to the Abrahamic religion. So it was only in these pagan rites and covens and stuff that they allowed women to be able to take these lead roles and do X, Y, and Z, and hence a lot of them that went into that whole witchcraft and feminism are in that left hand side. And when you have the your Wonder Woman's and whatnot, guess what? That star upon Wonder Woman's headband, guess where that goes back to? Exactly. So a lot of these different things, and now if you notice, actually, in a lot of these shows, and they've been doing it for a while, even video games, they're putting more female characters, female lead roles, and then the guys like the dumbass in the back, like literally like a dumbass.
The Witcher? You ever played The Witcher?
I've heard about The Witcher.
Yeah, the new one that's coming out.
Four, right?
Yeah, it's the lead is a chick.
But there you go, proving my point. Tomb Raider and all of these things. So, and then in the TV shows, the guy is just like a guy who just strung along. Oh, that's right, baby. Oh, I didn't think about that. And she's like the chick that's figuring things out. And oh, wait, you're supposed to do. Oh, no, you don't say that. Oh, my wife is gonna beat me up if I go out. Yeah, Hunger Games. I'm trying to go hang out with the boys. Oh, let me check in with my woman. Let's see if she's okay with that. She says, no, you stay home today. Hey, bro, I'm sorry, I can't go. It's the whole, like, put the pants on her, put the panties on him, and have him, flipped over like a pancake and shit. But that's what they push out here.
And when you look into that demon Lilith, which you hear a lot of feminists, they'll mention, well, what about Lilith? What about Lilith? Lilith is from the Babylonian Talmud.
Yep.
You see? And that's basically where that feminist, you get that feminist demon. That goes back to different pagan customs, which is where you get the modern day small hat religion.
Yep.
So all that type, that's why the scriptures talk about ish fables, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you have things like that.
Yep. Old wives' tales. Yeah, let's get that. What you got? So you got to live according to the way the Most High has told us. Like we see why the Most High has these laws in the scripture, so we understand perfectly what we got to do. The scriptures say, "He that is not with me is against me," and we with the Lord. Whatever judgments He's gonna bring. See, that's one thing you learn in this truth. When you first come in, you're like, "Damn, this just sound harsh." You're like, "Damn, Lord, you really gonna do all this?" And it's one thing to read about it, and it's another thing to see it, man. When you watch some of these movies where like we're talking about movies that don't have happy endings, and then you start to think about reality, like, yo, damn, this shit's really gonna be happening in real life. It starts to seem pretty gruesome, like, damn, people are gonna go through this. But you start to, over time, understand why. You look around and you're like, Lord, I see what you were saying. It's like when you tell somebody, this person just ain't gonna get it. And they're like, nah, let me try. And then they go and they try and they find out, damn, there's a reason why such and such said that. This person is just too far gone. Hey, listen. Oh, matter of fact, there was a skit, a video like that where the mom was teaching the son math for his homework, and then I think she was like, if you
No, I think it was about Johnny and the two apples.
yeah, you got your 2 apples, you got 3, you give him 3 more. How many do you have? 50. Like she's about to take his ass out. Hey, hold on, let me try. He said, son, son, you got 2 apples. You give him 3 more. How many you got?
He gave him the answer first.
Huh?
He gave him the answer. He said, son, the answer is 5.
The answer's 5.
The answer is 5. And he tells him. And then he asks him the question and he still gets it wrong. He said, oh my God, Jesus Lord. God.
He just passed her the slippers and just whoop his ass, man. And that's pretty much where we end up. Where we like, okay, we see why the Lord wrote these things.
This is Proverbs chapter 30, verse 20. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth and wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness.
That eateth doesn't mean she's gonna sit down at I don't know, Applebee's and tear down a cheeseburger and come and tell you I ain't do no wickedness, right? Because eating is not wicked, except unless you're eating abominable foods. that Edith, meaning that she's doing wicked acts, you know, sexual wicked acts, right? She's being a top popper, you know, popping tops and then corkscrewing and shit, you know, and opening quivers for arrows. And then she'll turn around, as it says, and say, "I've done no evil." That's what these women do. How many videos have you seen of a chick that goes on a girl trip? I got you, Haran. She goes to Miami, and and all of a sudden you don't see her posting no more, and find out that now she's posting on close friends.
Yeah.
And you just happen not to be on the close friends list, you know. So she's posting on close friends talking about she visited her grandma. So why are you posting shit on your close friends list but you visiting your grandma? You know, and then you catch them, and exactly as it says, they always try to play the game as though they didn't do anything wrong. They don't know what you're talking about. You didn't know what's going on. Such is the way of an adulterous woman. You got it,
There's
bro.
a whole bunch of demons because, like it says, she eateth and wipeth her mouth, right? They do these things, right? They do the most treacherous things, and then guess what? They turn around and say it's the man's fault. Oh, it's your fault why I did it, or it's your fault why I didn't do it. You know, and that's wicked as all hell, man. You can't hold these Babylonian women accountable for shit. They're never responsible for the wickedness that they conjure up, right? I saw this video of this chick. Apparently she and her man got into an argument or whatever. Sometimes it's mostly like a trivial matter, and these chicks blow it out of proportion. And she was about to give the man food. So before the man ate the food, he says, "Hey, baby, I'm so sorry for what I said earlier. I truly apologize. I love you. So it's all good. I forgive you for what you said, blah, 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 whatever." And then she stops, she looks at it, she goes, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, man. It was kind of like, you know, my temper flared a little bit. I apologize for that. And I appreciate that you're making me some food too after I cursed you out and everything." So then she goes, "Oh," and then she takes the food. While he about to take the first bite, she takes the food. She's like, "No, no, don't eat it." And she takes it back to the kitchen and then does whatever she had to do and then brought it back. He's like, "Yo, babe, come on. It looks good. I want to eat." She said, "No, no, 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 no. You can't eat this. I can't let you eat this." So I said, "Oh, shit. She was about to poison this nigga." So when he apologized, she felt some type of way. She's like, "Oh, you know what? Since you apologized, I'm going to take it back." This nigga almost saw the spirit world, bro. And all because of a freaking disagreement that you may have with these irrational ass beasts, man. These demons, man. Why? Because they don't have that upbringing of respecting a man's authority. You see, in their mind, they're like little princesses that could do no wrong. Meanwhile, they do all the wickedness in the world.
Yep.
Like, I'm doing wickedness, but you can't tell me I'm doing something wrong. That's what it means by to eat it and wipe it her mouth. She'll do the wickedness. She'll take a bite of that apple and then turn around and tell Adam, "Oh, I didn't eat it." So how the fuck did the apple get bitten? You the only mouth over here. How did it get bitten? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I didn't bite it. I don't know who did it. Stupid bitch, man. But you got it, bro. I think I sure had something to say.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Quick pre on the wickedness of that woman. Damn, I seen a lot of them videos where they was poisoning their spouse.
Yeah.
But this Ecclesiastes 25 verse 16. I had rather dwell with the lion and the dragon than to keep house with the wicked woman. So, you know, you on one side, you rather deal with a damn vicious beast that'll devour you before you deal with the woman, man. And sometimes you leave out the house like, yo, I'd rather go out there in this world, deal with 1,000 demons than be in the house with this woman. You know? We was talking about it on the way here that the cortisone level on your body drops because the stress level of how a woman can take you. So physically, her aura could cause you health issues, man.
Yep. Damn, that's so toxic.
Yeah, that's toxic.
Crazy.
That's all.
Yeah, like the brother had mentioned, they just put a video on WorldStar. This woman got caught stone cold, poisoning her husband, and the detectives caught her, and they were saying like, "Yo, listen, you had to have done this. We have all the evidence that you did this. We know how you did it." And the funny thing is, she told on herself because she's the only one that mentioned what he was poisoned with.
Yo.
She was like, "Yeah, something about antifreeze," and they were like, "Well, how do you know about that?" Because on the toxicology report, it says that he was poisoned with antifreeze and a flower that's known to be deadly. So they're telling it to her face, and this is the wickedness of a woman. They have all the evidence laid out. "Bitch, we know you did it." She's like, "No, I would never kill my husband. I didn't kill him." What about the insurance policy you took out for $250K? that nigga's body was still warm. An hour later, she called the insurance company. Yo, listen, I'm gonna need that money, blah, blah, blah.
That's crazy.
And she was committing adultery on top of it. She had an affair. And they gave her the death penalty. But that's what she was sentenced to, but they end up commuting it to like life. She should have got the damn death penalty, man.
Yeah.
And then while she was in jail, she tried to plot to murder somebody who knew the information about what she did.
Oh God.
One of her friends.
Damn.
Was the detectives asked her, she's like, yeah, she had asked about this poison and this stuff. Listen, like, I see she got to face justice. So in jail, she tried to pay, and they sent like a fake assassin to talk to her. She was like, yeah, listen, whatever you gotta do, I'll give you $20,000 to take that bitch out.
Oh.
And somehow she don't get put to death.
That's crazy.
Somehow,
These wicked, man.
yeah, man. The levels of wickedness you can achieve in America is ridiculous.
Oh yeah, because that's actual. You know, they're murderers. You know, you got women that are actually walking the streets today that are murderers. And why? Because they're able to hide under the coat of being like this innocent, harmless person. But you know, some of the thoughts that they have is very, very scary to even think about, man. A chick could poison somebody and then just call it a day. You know, set them up and then call it a day. And then they're living around, quote unquote, scot-free. But you know who sees that? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai sees that. You know, you will not escape justice. You will not escape. Nobody escapes the Lord. The scriptures say it's a marvel if a sinner escape untouched. You know, the Lord is always going to bring that justice back, and that's what Jacob's trouble is here for. You know. Anyway, what we got? Let's get Proverbs 11:4 real quick, and also Ecclesiastes was that 8 and 11 or 11 and 8, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. You know, so that's why we're eagerly awaiting the day of the Lord, man, because you know judgment needs to come. You know, and through judgment comes justice. True justice.
Proverbs 11:4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath.
Riches profit not in the day of wrath. And these people will do anything for money. Like you just mentioned, freaking murdering your own husband. If a chick will murder her own husband for money, what you think she'll do to a regular person? You know? So you murder your own husband for what, 200K? Like, come on, man. But as it says, riches profit not in the day of wrath. Because when all hell breaks loose, money is not gonna do anything. You know? You can't bribe death, you know, for with money. You know, you can't. How did Hezekiah end up living longer? Did he tell the Lord, no, Lord, I got all this gold. You know, I'm giving you a little something here, piece you off here and there, and you let me live a little longer? No. It was righteousness. It was humility. And that's the one thing these people have no clue what it even is. You know? So as it says, riches profit not in the day of wrath. So that includes your status, your rank, you know, all this shit that people, you know, that people are striving so hard to gain, you know, as though it's gonna, you know, it's gonna secure me. No, there's more things to life than money, and that's why the scriptures say the love of money is the root of all evil.
Just to add to your point real quick, in Isaiah 13, it mentions that the Medes, they can't be bought out with silver and gold.
Exactly.
So it's gonna get to a point where it's beyond money. This is about honor.
Yep.
You took our people, now we're gonna take everybody out. That's
Exactly.
what the Russians are gonna end up doing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see they're in not to get off topic, but they're in that corner and all that pressure's being applied, and they're like, you cutting off all their options. Like, all right, we gotta push the button. Fuck it. Everybody dies.
The breaking news that was on the radio.
Oh yeah, NATO's going to war with Russia.
Oh shit.
You know, that's something that's on the horizon. And Scott Ritter mentioned how multiple times in the last few months to weeks that it's been on the brink. We've been on the brink of all-out destruction.
Yep.
And he keeps saying it. Everybody dies. Everybody dies. But you don't know the elect is not going to die.
Yep.
The elect is going to be delivered. And even remnants of people throughout the earth are going to survive. But most of the people are going to die.
Yep.
But basically, by him saying that, you see that the severity of it, it's an extinction level event, essentially. And Yahweh Shai coming to save the elect. Eventually, New Jerusalem is going to come down as the saviors of humanity and all life. They're going to be begging for the rulership, man. After a thermonuclear war, some of them, the scripture does say some of them are going to still have that pride and rebel, but for the most part, the people are going to be begging for us to come and help them. Please, we'll do whatever. We keep the laws, man. They're going to be begging.
Yep. And they're going to be afraid.
That's right.
You know, because when they see the chariots of the Lord pull up, I keep making that comparison, man. People are bugging out over these so-called drones. You know, when you see the chariots of the Lord, just let one chariot, you know, that's, I saw a video, and it was these guys, they were recording I think these were actual chariots, and the chariots were like three, like they ended up forming a triangle, you know, and they were like a huge ball of light. And they started bugging out. They started spazzing. Oh shit, yo, we just saw UFOs. Oh my god! And they were just seeing them from far away. And I remember there was a video that you sent me, Haran, where you had this dude. He was recording it. You know, he said it's massive, and basically what he saw was an actual like a huge chariot, and he saw the lights all around it. You know, like a ring. You know, and then the lights would expand, and then they would close, and then they would expand, and then they would close. And he was just looking at it, recording it. And I'm like, and it was cloaked in the skies, one chariot. So just imagine if the Lord was to have the angels show one chariot, you know, and see the head of a figure in there, and see how these people gonna bug out. So when the time comes, they're gonna be hell of afraid. You know, you're gonna see the chariots beaming up certain people, and then the ones that come down with spiritual power, people flying down from chariots. What? Yeah, they ain't gonna. It ain't gonna be a time to joke around with, man.
Hey, the brother I sure posted a clip, a small little clip of a ice glacier. I think it was like these huge ass ice glaciers that was breaking up and shit. I don't know exactly. I think it was Antarctica somewhere, right? And I watched the whole clip, man, and I was like looking at it, and I think sure you made a point about how there was something like a black thing that was in the water. It looked like an animal, like a huge creature that was in there. I seen that shit, and I looked through the comments, and a couple of people also pointed it out. But when I saw it, I was like, "Oh shit!" Like it looked like the back of an animal that was rising up, and it was breaking through the ice. And when they did the comparison of what that ice, the ice that was breaking, they put a comparison of a whole entire New York City, like Manhattan. It looked like a tiny little thing compared to that. And I was like, "Yo, I used to work in Manhattan. We walk through the streets of Manhattan. You see how tall these buildings are and everything like that. And that is nothing in comparison to these glaciers. All right, cool." And I thought about it. I said, "Yo, so imagine the chariot that Yahushua is coming down with." Ezra said when he looked at it, he said he couldn't see the ends of it. Like it was like a huge mountain. So how tiny are human beings gonna be in comparison to that chariot that's coming down with Yahushua, man? It's gonna be it's gonna cover the whole entire skies.
Yep.
That means that when we're gonna be looking up at it, it's gonna be like, yo, what is this thing? Like, what is this machine? What is this? It's like a leviathan creature, like this huge built like, and the sound is gonna be making the energy that's gonna be emanating from it, like the size alone, like the way it's gonna be moving, like it's just like yo. And when I was watching that video, the only thing I thought about was yo, the Most High, you are truly the Almighty Power. Like, look at this. Like, this is like child's play to you. You made all this. Yeah, like you made all this on this earth. Like, yo, what the fuck? Like, yo, this is crazy. Like, yo, you feel good because you're like, Lord, I'm glad I'm on your side and I'm not against you because, man, I wouldn't want to be against you. You know, I'm saying, Lord, the water, like, yo, I'm watching. I'm just like, I'm amazed. Like, cause we're so tiny. We're so, we're so younger. Like, we're so tiny compared to, you know, we're like a small little creature compared to everything else on the earth. When you look at the ocean, when you look at these whales, these great whales that's written up in the book of Genesis, when the Lord created these great whales,
Yep.
right? And it says Leviathan, and it's male and female created he them. So there's multiple Leviathans, and most people have not even seen one yet. Even if they have, what they have documented is probably not even out in the public, you know, except for what we have in the scriptures. But I'm thinking about all these things. I'm like, yo, this is on earth. What about what the Heavenly Father's hosts that's coming down from heaven? Like, you people are not ready for this. You're not ready for this, man. You know, and just the stature, the oh man, bro. Hey, man, we got something glorious coming our way, brothers. You know, and I'm like, Lord, the water that we are your servants. Like you chose us. We didn't choose you. You chose us, and I'm glad you chose us because where else are we gonna go? With all the stuff that's coming upon the face of the earth, I see why men's hearts are gonna be failing them. That's heart attacks and all that, right? For all the things that they're gonna be seeing on the earth, you know, unseen, unheard of. It's like, yo, this is first time in human history. That's when people really gonna be like, yo, we at the end of this thing because damn, this has never happened before, and it's all happening now. Oh yeah, we at the end, man. You know, but yeah, that video, I'm gonna see if I could I could upload it. You know, but yeah, man, when you actually watch it, you be like, yo, the size of that shit. Damn, bro, like we are nothing. Like we are like tiny ants compared to what the Lord is going to be coming down with that chariot, man. When you actually go into the scope of it, thinking of it, like this is what Ezra saw. Yo, man, whew, it's gonna be something, man. Something great, man. You got it, bro.
Yeah, Jacob's our worth. Yep.
I just wanted to like uh point out the land back up what you were saying out on the broad spectrum of Yahweh and his power is in the movie Men in Black when they were showing how a whole galaxy was inside the charm of the little dog.
Oh yeah, I think I
You
saw
know,
that.
to
One of the
classify
recent
like
ones.
how minute we are as a people and how their whole facility was inside the locker room or somebody's domain was like their whole planet was inside like a locker room door inside one of the lockers. It shows how our planet is so minute compared to the Lord that Leviathan probably like is an ant compared to the Lord and his totality of his gloriousness. You know, to us we look at it like a megalithic thing. You know, like 100 Titanic, but to him, he probably look at it under a microscope. Like I'm gonna send one of my smallest ant creatures to, dwarf y'all. You know.
Yeah, but the Lord, the Lord, when you read that in the book of Job, the Lord speaks highly about Leviathan. You know, he's real proud of Leviathan because he's like, yo, you gonna mess with him? You gonna he say he breaks through iron like straw. You know, come try him. So the day that the Lord says I'm gonna unleash that, then that could very well be in Jacob's trouble because it's a time like never before. There's no account in the scriptures of anybody ever seeing Leviathan. You know, so when the Lord decides, and we know he's there because the Lord spoke about him. So when the Lord decides, yo, bring him up, you gonna understand, what the Lord what he got down there in them secret places. And the scriptures tell you in Ezra that the two parts, right, of the living creatures, it was that there was not enough space on the land to have us both. So he put the one part on the water and the other on top, and the other was man. So whatever's gonna come out the waters, it ain't gonna be something light to play with, man.
Hey, Leviathan is the king of the seas.
Yeah,
that's the Lord's pet. That's a. He takes it like when you read in Job, that's what he was really trying to blow Job's mind. Like, you want to hear something, man? Listen to this. And he start going into it, breaking. I got something right here. Mm-hmm. Job 41:27. He esteemeth iron as straw.
This is dealing with Leviathan.
And brass as rotten wood.
Yo, now, and the emphasis is rotten wood. Regular wood is kind of tough. Rotten wood, you just kick that joint and it already breaks.
Yeah, it disintegrates.
Yeah, it disintegrates. And that's how Leviathan, like it says, he esteemeth brass. You know how hard brass is? Brass is one of the hardest metals out there. And he messed with that thing like it's rotten wood.
Darts are counted as stubble. Mm-hmm. He laugheth at the shaking of a spear.
Look at that.
Imagine Leviathan's laugh.
Yeah. You throw missiles at him and he's, you know what I'm saying? That's what they show you in those Godzilla movies. Those missiles, like, they just hit the scales and it doesn't do anything to him. He's just moving. He's just going, he turns around and just shoot fire out of his mouth. Shit.
The roar sound like a siren, or like when the boat is making this alert sound.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's gonna be intense, man. It's gonna be intense. Brothers have also had dreams about that. About Leviathan and the strength that he possesses. So that's why the day of the Lord is gonna be one to be remembered, man. These people have no clue. Got it.
It says sharp stones are under him.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, like he has like these sharp, like spikes,
like
scales coming out of his body. He spreadeth sharp pointed things upon the mire. So that's when he's like dragging through the earth. He's gigantic, man. If he were to walk on the earth, it's gonna be like earthquakes happen. Every step he takes, like in the video, which allegedly, it looked like could be. Mm-hmm. The head was the size of a piece of Manhattan. The head alone. Imagine that. And guess what? The elect is going to have power over Leviathan. Leviathan will be like, shit, y'all got it. We're going to be, Leviathan's going to be our ally. Hey, you might each brother might have his own pet in the kingdom. Hey, the Lord made everything for our sakes, and the Lord's will be those men. He maketh the deep to boil like a pot.
Yeah, and the way that happens is when you have something like in water, right? When you have something really big that moves very fast, it generates heat, and that's where you have the boiling, because the boiling water is just heat, you know, that generates that. So you can imagine that. You imagine a big ass beast like that can move so fast. You know, when you watch the movie, forgot the name of the movie, but it's a
Cloverfield.
no, this is a different one. This is more of one of those. It's an old movie, but it has like the Zeus and the other gods, and it's the one where it says release the Kraken.
Oh,
Clash of the Titan, right? And they released that mother man, and that's just computer animations, right? But you see how huge, man, that shit with them tentacles and shit, you know, comes out of the water. Number one, you like, damn, the ocean is big as hell, but just the freaking sight of something like that alone is terrifying, you know. And it doesn't even need to stand its whole body up. It just rear its little head up and yo.
It says, he maketh the sea like a pot of ointment. He maketh a path to shine after him.
Mm-hmm.
One would think the deep to be hoary. Damn. Upon earth, in the NLT, it says the water glistens in its wake, making the sea look white.
Wow.
Man. Nothing on earth is its equal. No other creature so fearless. Of all the creatures, it is the proudest. It is the king of beasts.
There you go. That's Leviathan for you. And that's the Lord. That's the Lord talking about His creation.
So like I was gonna say real quick, that's how you know that they take you know, the concept of Godzilla, because the second Godzilla movie is called Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Oh,
and like it just said right there.
Yep. The king of the beast. Yep. There you go. There you go. That's crazy, man. Hey, but that's and that's gonna show the power of the Lord. To say like this, now come tell me the Big Bang made that, you know, and see what happens to your ass.
Yeah, imagine Job's face hearing that.
Yeah.
That's why he said, I put my hand over my mouth. I
That's
ain't got nothing to say.
That's it. You got it, Lord. Lord, that man. That was it on that.
That was it, yeah.
Let's finish in what we had in Proverbs 11 and 4.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's what going back to but righteousness delivereth from death.
Yep.
And the Lord is going to have, you know, like that TV show 1,000 Ways to Die. The Lord is going to have a whole bunch of creative ways to take these people out, you know. And they have no clue, man. They have no clue. These people, look, what we're reading about right here, at a time when people could stomach, you know, gruesome things, at a time when people understood the spirit world and spirituality and spooky apparitions, they would still be spooked out over this. How much more for a time like this, where people don't even believe the words of the scriptures to be true, you know? Everything is technology, and it has to be physical and proof based, and where's your this and where's your that. When they start to see these things that they can't explain, and that's why the scriptures say a lot of them men's hearts failing them for fear. People have absolutely no clue, zero clue what's about to take place on the planet Earth. Right?
So I was gonna say real quick, like imagine, you know, an example for like women, right? Because some women is into manifesting and all that. You don't even know. Said in a video I did that you don't even know that demon is right there. Some of you say that you don't have a husband or a man. No, you have a husband or a man. He's in there. You just can't see him. So imagine when the Lord starts, you know, making these apparitions show. You're in your crib or whatever. And I could just imagine you're walking down the hallway to your crib and you see not 5'5", not 5'10", 6'5", or maybe even 7 feet. This big shadowy figure just standing like this is the doorway. You can see half of it just standing right there looking at you. You're gonna be like, you are gonna be scared because it's gonna be like, what the hell is that?
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna be so. It's like it's gonna be a reoccurring thing where you start seeing this over and over and over to the point where it's like, yo, what the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm. Yo, like if you've ever seen Death Note, it's an anime called Death Note. Shigagami or something, whatever, that creature. They
What's the name of it?
yeah, that big black creature that's always there that only he can see and whatnot. That they made a real life adaptation to that. I saw like a quick clip. That thing looked like yo, a demon out of Egypt or some shit, man. Like Asmodeus himself. So like you were saying, man, when they start seeing these apparitions, you see this nigga, like, halfway through, and them demons, they like to play tricks. Look, here's the thing about demons, man. They're not stupid, okay? Demons are not like dumbass creatures, and no. They're very, 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 very intelligent, and they know how to scare the hell out of your ass. How to act like they're not there, and then just when you think you caught a relief, you grabbed on your little cross and you were praying, and then the demon disappeared, and you thought, okay, it's good, and then he pops up back up, boom, nigga, I was playing with you. Grab you out of the leg and drags you. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? Now it's my turn.
An example of what you're saying. I'm not going to spoil it, but I did do a review because there was a video that Aharon did the other day. The veil is being broken down or loose, going into like the whole music industry. And there's a movie. Exactly what you're saying. If you could, if you're into like watching horror, watch Smile, the first one. Exactly what you were just saying. About how the demons, they can play with you and things like that. They're very intelligent. I would recommend watching the Smile movie. One and two, really, but especially the first one.
There you go. People gonna find that out, but they ain't gonna be smiling. The only ones gonna be smiling is them demons. Because them demons actually gonna have fun. Why? Because number one, the scriptures tell you that they seek to do the will of the Most High to appease His wrath. So they're gonna know that they're doing the will of the Lord. Number one, all good. But number two, they're also gonna be like, yo, this is fun because this person is an evil person. And the Lord gave me free range to do whatever I want. The Lord said, be creative, impress me. Imagine the Lord telling the demon to impress him when it comes to judge you. You know that you ain't dying anytime soon, because there's gonna be a whole bunch of things these demons. See, the demons, demons are not wicked, they just make people do wicked things. But demons are not wicked; they just follow instructions. So if the Lord tells the demon, yo, go ahead and fix this guy up, they're gonna see this nigga like, oh, this nigga, he a rebel right here. I'm gonna take care of him real quick, and there's gonna be a whole bunch of cases like that all throughout the world in Jacob's trouble. One-on-one fun time with demons. Did we finish in Proverbs? Yeah. Yeah. Now bring up your point.
No, I was gonna say what you said reminded me of when there was that council in the heavens.
Yep.
And he said, "Be thou a lying spirit." I think it was to take Ahab out.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's gonna happen on a large scale. Those thoughts that comes into people's mind. A lot of time people do these crazy ass shits, murder, suicide, they kill their whole family, and they be like, "Yo, I had a voice in my head. I don't know what to do. That shit just took over." That's a demon.
Yep.
That set you up. Proverbs 11:4. Riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivereth from death.
There you go. Righteousness delivered from death. And because who's the deliverer? Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai's name is literally deliverer, right? So by you keeping the word of the Lord's patience, by you serving the Lord, by you being diligent to the Lord, regardless of what this world says, when the time comes, it's gonna be in reverse. We have the upper hand right now, but the Lord is gonna make that manifest throughout the whole world. And everybody else, as they're going through things, you're hungry, you're afraid, you're mourning because you lost loved ones, and now you got to deal with demons terrorizing you. You walking and you tripping and shit. These, like I said, man, they're gonna have fun with you. You're gonna think that you're safe, and here it is. It's you and your man, and you done escape to the secure area, and all of a sudden your man starts going crazy because the demons are up in his mind. So there is no escaping Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. You're either doing the will of the Lord or you're on the Lord's hit list. And if you're on the Lord's hit list, goodbye. All right? Real younger leg. But that was it on that, right? All right, bros, got anything else?
Yeah, go ahead. Oh, I'm not. You got it.
Oh, I just had the precept that you quoted just not too long ago. It's Ecclesiasticus or the book of Sirach, chapter 39, verse 28, and it reads, "There be spirits that are created for vengeance."
Who created
Which
them?
in the
The Most High created them. For what? For vengeance. Go ahead.
which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them.
Woo. So there you go. There you go. So the Most High has special creatures, beautiful precept, that are created for vengeance. And then he says that this is the time of vengeance. So he's gonna unleash them. Go on, show them, show them what I've created out here. And it says, in their fury they lay on sword strokes, and they appease the wrath of him that made them. I'm not trying to be a part of that. You got it, bro.
Solomon 17.
Yep.
Get that whole chapter. We'll do a lesson on the chapter.
Hey, that's a beautiful thing. And just to close it out, like you said, how these angels or these creatures are sent out to lay on sore strokes. All right, ultimately is a two-way street. Right, you have those who are here to help deliver the elect, pertaining to Matthew 24, 29, 30 on down, and then you have those who are here to destroy the wicked. All right, so let's get this in the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 1, start off at verse 6. It says, "Seeing it is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you." And that goes first and foremost to the other nations, starting with Esau, Edom, and then of course to our people that came against this gospel. All right, you got this asshole, Quaz Brown, Michael Brown. He apparently he deactivated his X account, talking about some investigation is going on, so he's not gonna utter too many words. Nigga, your ass is done. The Lord about to deal with you. Followed by vocab. All right. Verse 7, it says, "And to you who are troubled, rest with us when the Lord Yahushua Hamashiach shall be revealed from heaven with his mighty angels." Right? So that goes for all you brothers and sisters who are in the faith, right? You're suffering, you're going through all your hardships in this world. Rest with us, all right? Because everlasting rest is actually coming via Yahushua, the deliverer, for those who believe on him. Okay? It says, verse 8, "In flaming fire, taking vengeance on them that know not the Most High, and that obey not the gospel of our Lord Yahushua Hamashiach." Right? So that means that this is not for everyone. Those who listen and those who take this to heart, those are the ones who are going to be delivered in the day of trouble, right? As we read in Proverbs, the 4th chapter. But those who don't take heed and buck up against this thing, you're going to meet your maker very soon, all right? And you're going to end up being destroyed. It says, verse 9, this is the key. "Who shall be punished with everlasting destruction from the presence of the Lord and from the glory of his power." And that's Revelation, the 14th chapter, going to those who are going to end up taking the MOTB. All right, you're all going to be destroyed. All right. It says, verse 10, "When he shall come to be he shall come to be glorified in his saints and to be admired in all them that believe, because our testimony among you was believed in that day." All right. So actually, let me just finish off the rest of the chapter. Verse 11, "Wherefore also we pray always for you, that our power would count you worthy of his calling, and fulfill all the good pleasure of his goodness, and the work of faith with power, that the name of our Lord Yahushua Hamashiach may be glorified in you, and ye in him, according to the grace of our power and the Lord Yahushua Hamashiach." All right, so that's pretty much it. A good way to end it off, just to keep your spirits up. That, yeah, things may get shaky, the boat might rock a little bit here and there, but remember, though Yahushua might be sleeping, he's not dead, right? He was still sleeping, but when we called upon him, he woke up and he calmed the storms and everything was good. So all you gotta do is when the boat starts to, shake a little bit, remember, our master is still in our corner and he got our backs. All right. But you brothers got it, bro.
Done. Beautiful. So, hey, with that, we're going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakak, Wadash. Until next time, Shalom.
Shalom, Yahweh, Yahushai to you brothers. Shalom, Yahweh, Yahushai to the rest of the elect. Shalom.
Rakatah. Yahweh,
Shalom.
Shalom.